There's the ongoing controversy about Obama going to Notre Dame to give the commencement address. That's been criticized by over 25 U.S. bishops now. The bishops have been basically tricked into opposing the visit by people who are really Republican activists who work under the veil of pro-life organizations.
Hello, my name is Jacques Berlinerblau of Georgetown University. You've just clicked into Faith Complex, a dialogue about the entanglement of religion and politics. Today's guest is Father Thomas J. Reese of the Society of Jesus, and also a PhD, of course. Father Reese is a senior research fellow at the Woodstock Theological Center of Georgetown University. Father Reese, thank you so much for joining us on Faith Complex.
Glad to be here.
Okay, our subject today is Catholics and the presidents who love them, or perhaps the presidents who love their votes. I've always said understanding the Catholic vote is kind of like the astrophysics of the study of religion and politics, because they're not like Jews who have voted consistently Democratic since the days of FDR. They sort of divagate here and there and do things that make analysts sometimes stop and reflect. Tell us about the Catholic vote in general terms.
Well, actually, the Catholic vote joined the Democratic coalition even earlier in 1928 when Al Smith ran, and continued to vote for the New Deal coalition all the way through Truman. What has happened is since the end of the Second World War, Catholics have become more educated, they've become wealthier, they're paying more taxes. The result is they're more a target now of the Republican Party.
Let's talk about the American Catholic community in general. Why are Catholics so complex?
Well, Catholics are everybody. There are Hispanic Catholics, there are various ethnic Catholics. We also have rich and poor Catholics. Often they can be the swing vote that determines the result of the election. That's why Republicans have been focusing on them since the time of Nixon. I mean, obviously there are some Catholics who vote Democratic in every election. There are some Catholics who vote Republican in every election. But there's about 20% of the Catholics that can swing one way or the other. And that's why they're so important, because they can determine the outcome of an election.
So the strategists concentrate on the 20%, the swing
Absolutely.
Catholic vote. Who's a swing Catholic voter?
It's a middle income kind of person who's the swing vote. It's also the working class ethnic Catholic. Those are the people that each party tries to get into their corner at the time of the election. But again, it's a key part of the Catholic vote, maybe 20% that can be swayed one way or the other. The rest of them tend to vote the same way year after year.
Now, apparently some of this 20% swung on over to the blue side of the ledger. They voted for Obama in 2008, an apparent shift from 2004. What was it about Obama's message that might have appealed to more Catholic voters?
The economy, the economy, the economy.
What about the economy, though?
I think that the Catholic voters, just like American voters in general, saw that the economy was deteriorating fast, and they wanted change.
Obama's been in office now, about 100 days or so. What have been the major storylines vis-a-vis his relation with the American Catholic community?
The storylines have tended to be about abortion, about stem cell research, but the reality is that his support among Catholics has grown just as his support among the American people has grown. We now see that even white Catholics have a more favorable view of Obama than they did on election day, where white Catholics voted for McCain. And in fact, if you compare white Catholics with white Protestants, they're much more liberal than white Protestants, who, of course, many of whom are evangelicals.
What's interesting about the discussion of abortion in the American Catholic community?
Well, I think the thing that's most surprising to most people is the fact that American Catholic opinion on abortion is almost exactly the same as the American public in general. And that opinion has not been changing in the last decade. For all the debate, for all the controversy, Catholics are pretty much made up their mind one way or the other, and they're sticking to those opinions.
All right, another hot-button issue, human embryonic stem cell research. What are you hearing in the American Catholic community?
Again, for most American Catholics, it's not an issue. They have no problem with embryonic stem cell research.
Because Jesus was a healer, or for other reasons?
No, because they want to be cured of whatever diseases they or their relatives have. The bishops have made a very strong statement against embryonic stem cell research, against abortion and these other issues. But the people in the pews have pretty much the same views as the American public at large.
Okay, now American Catholics and Rome don't always see eye to eye. Describe for us the Vatican's view of Obama's first 100 days.
Well, I think the Vatican, has been dealing with kings and princes and presidents for almost 2,000 years. So when it sees a new government, a new president, they say, okay, we will work with him on the areas where we agree, and we will criticize in the areas where we disagree. The Vatican is much closer to the Obama administration on all the foreign policy issues, winding down the war in Iraq, trying to do something in the Middle East, concern for refugees and the poor in Africa, and global warming. All of these things, the Vatican is much closer to the Democrats than it was to the Republicans. In fact, I think the Vatican is to the left of the Democrats and of the Obama administration on questions of economic justice, concern for the third world, and workers' rights. The Vatican has always been a strong supporter of the United Nations, of multilateralism. Mm-hmm. I mean, these were issues where it had conflict with the Bush administration. Mm-hmm. Frankly, I think there are a lot of people who try and drum up a controversy between the Obama administration and the Catholic Church because basically they want this storyline to continue to go on because it helps the Republican Party.
And in the next 100 days, is a new issue going to come across our radar? Is there something else that Catholicism and the Obama administration are going to be discussing?
Well, I mean, there's the ongoing controversy about Obama going to Notre Dame to give the commencement address. That's been criticized by over 25 U.S. bishops now. They are saying that a Catholic institution should not provide a platform or any honors to a politician who is pro-choice. This is something where I think the bishops have been basically tricked into opposing the visit by people who are really Republican activists who work under the veil of pro-life organizations. Surprisingly, they didn't have any problem when Cardinal Egan had President Obama at the Al Smith dinner up in New York, which is one of the most prestigious platforms for any politician to speak from to the Catholic community.
Father Reese, thank you so much for joining us today on Faith Complex.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
Thank you so much.